Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Dave from wetflyswing.com, and today I'm doing this with a little bit of a cold, but no big deal. We're tying a Hackled Skip Nymph, and this one came to me because I interviewed Skip Morris on the Fly Fishing podcast, which can be seen at wetflyswing.com/show. And I interviewed Skip here. I'm using some just some point 0.15 lead wire here to give it a little bit of weight. And I'm just going to wrap it not all the way up to about there. Start there, push that back a little bit. Give myself plenty of room in the front. So I'm going to wrap up and start here with a little bit of a thread dam. Just get that all covered up. Make sure that doesn't splay on me. Same thing in the back. And then there's a few different ways to tie this stuff in. I tend to well, obviously we're going to start in the back here, but a lot of times I'll tie in the tail first. On this one I'm not going to. I'm going to start with, because it has some medium copper wire here, which we're going to use for this one. And I'll cut this off using your secondary scissors and just tie this in. This isn't actually medium. I have another medium here from Ultra that's definitely a little thicker. And for this big size, I think I'm going to throw on this other medium wire because I think it's going to stick out a little bit better than the current one we have here. So I'll cut that off. I'm just going to tie that in right there. And this fly is like a kind of a mix between a hare's ear and a pheasant tail. I'll show you what I mean here as I get going, but we're going to use just a hare's mask for the body. And before I get there, I'll show you right here is just a little bit of, you can see that's a little bit of dubbing that I actually pulled off of this hare's mask, which is actually a real hare's mask. And you can just pull some of these off, throw it in a little small container like this, and then just chop it up and blend it yourself. That's all I did here. It's pretty simple. Or you can buy, pre-cut, the packages. But I kind of like, if you want to do your own mix, sometimes it's good to mix it up just with your own thing here. So I'm going to put on a little bit of, just got some wax here. By the way, we are using a size 8, 17-10. And this fly, Skip, I know originally, at least on his website, he mentioned that he ties this in, like, I think 6s and to 10s, but you can tie this up to 16s, no problem. This one is on a size 8, so it's a fairly decent size hook. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of dubbing on, just put it on loosely on, just like that. Just kind of get it above, and then I'm just going to kind of roll my fingers to tighten it up. So I'm rolling it. You just roll it. Really, this is the simple dubbing. When you have good dubbing to work with, which is, and I got plenty on here, probably a little too much. I'll just pull off a little bit at the end. If you have too much at the very end, you can just pull it off. So I got a nice thick dubbing amount here. And then in the guard hairs on this fly, the guard hairs are what you want. The guard hairs make this thing look good, make it look buggy. So I'm just going to kind of start wrapping. See how those are sticking out? That's definitely what you want there. As you get up, I'm going to have to put a little bit more on. Again, see how that looks real buggy? And you do about, the back is about a 2/3. You know, the back, the abdomen part is about 2/3 to the thorax is about 1/3, which is pretty typical. So I'll put these on here. Get some more dubbing on here. And you make the back, so you make the back a little bit thinner than the front. And then you build it up so it has a thicker thorax. Again, this is put a nice amount here, and I'm just going to start wrapping it. You can see how that's starting to look, how it's starting to build up. And then I can build it right up to the front right there. And then what I'm going to do is take some of this pheasant tail. I'm going to cut off a nice chunk of this. About this fly, you want a decent amount. Let's just grab a bunch here, about like that. We'll cut that off right there. And what we're going to do is put this right over the top of the fly, essentially. It's just going to cover. This is going to be it's going to be part of the wing casing and the back and everything else. I'm just going to put it right there, and then what I'm going to do is wrap this, pinch that, and wrap this right over the top. Get it into position right there. So it's sitting right on top, and I want to spin on you, but you just kind of hold it like that. I'll put the other wrap right over the top like that. There you go. I'll do another one right there. There's another one right there. As we're coming up, we're getting close to where we're going to switch it, so I'm going to put one more right there. I'll wrap this off just for a second because we're going to continue to use this copper wire. So just like that. Now we got our, the cool thing about this too is when we come back through, we can take our bodkin and pick out to make it look a little buggier. That's why the hairs there is nice, especially when I do it like this with this natural stuff. You can start to see what that thing looks like. Pull this off. Okay, so now we got this part, and now I'm just going to get this back, and I'm going to finish up the dubbing and do a little more wax here. Finish dubbing the thorax, and then we're going to wrap the hackle, which is going to be this guy, using just a rump patch. I'm going to strip off this there. Strip this off just to get it cleaned up. Get that out of the way so you have a clean feather to use. I'm going to pull it back so I have a little anchor. Pull it back just like that. So now I'm going to tie in this little anchor piece. And then we'll be able to wrap back using the copper wire over it. But before I do that, I'm going to throw on some more hairs here. I got this nice darker, some guard hairs that are chopped up, really nice looking hairs here. I can't remember if I mentioned this can be a callibaetis, a good callibaetis imitation. It's been used on lakes quite a bit, and you can see it's got that coloration. Really good looking fly. So I'm just going to start dubbing this. And like I said, I'm going to make the front thorax a little thicker if I can, try to make it a little bit buggier. You can see that's just there. I'm going to do one more. I could even do it without getting any wax on here. Let's see if this works. Okay, I'll do one more wrap over the top of this. There we go, right to there. We got that. Now what we're going to do, there's different ways to tie in these hackles. This is kind of a fun way because you actually secure it with the copper wire. Like I said, I'm going to get this nice little anchor in, tie in this anchor, and I'm going to cut this off. you guys ever find that you do your best work when you're kind of rushed or not 100%? I'm not saying I'm doing that right now, but seems like that's kind of the case. So I'm going to wrap this. So I'm just going to start wrapping. I'm going to make one wrap, and I'm just going to go right back towards the back with this guy. And this is a cool, you know, a little bit different color here. This is, I definitely know this isn't what the original pattern called for, but I'm going to wrap it right on here. Let it splay out and get one more right there. And then what you do is come around and then I'm going to come around with this wire, you can see, and wrap it through without wrapping over anything. And I'm going to wrap one more, get three, try not to, there we go. It just gives it that full, there we go. I'll wrap this off right here. I'm going to go right behind it with a couple, and then I'm going to go right in front of it. And then we'll just hold on tight with it. There we go. Get that off of there. And we'll cut off a few of these extras that are kind of in the way. Right up front here. Alright. And then what I'll do for this final piece, get this cut off as well. Cut off this little guy, the stem. And then what we're going to do is just do the wing case right over the top, just like that. And you can, sometimes you can pull these back to make it look nice, but you can see how nice that coloration is over the top. We'll make it nice and wide right there. Just like that. Get it all set up. You can see how buggy that baby's looking, and there's different colorations you can use for the body. I mean, you can go with some darker, lighter, olive, you know, whatever you feel like. You can throw in a mix up a little bit, which is obviously the best thing you can do. So I'm going to just cover this up really quick. Get that covered up. Cut this off. We'll just do our whip finish. When I do my whip finish, I use my hands. I tend to pull this back like this. Just do a little whip finish like this. There we go. So this fly looks pretty good, just like it is right now. You can see. Got myself a little friend outside. He's my buddy. He's I like my bird friends. So there you go. So now you got a nice hackled, oh, there it is, hackled, which is where the name comes from. And you can see here, you can just kind of turn it around, get a look at how that guy looks. And then, if you want to, you can go down here, like I said, and kind of pick out from underneath. I think this one actually looks pretty good, so I'm not going to pick it up. But what I will do is get a little head cement, put a little head cement right back on the thread, and then also here I like to put it right back on top here just to protect that wing case a little bit. But that's it. This is the Hackled Skip Nymph, and you can find it at Wet Fly Swing. I do want to remind you, if you can, please subscribe if you found this useful. That helps get the word out, and you can click that little bell as well along, and that'll give you an update when I tie a new fly. And I'm going to have more guests on the obviously on the fly fishing show. You can find that at wetflyswing.com/show. And Skip Morris actually hasn't aired yet. It's going to air, I think, in about a month. So keep an eye out for that, and you'll get updated when that interview with Skip comes out. And it was a really good one. Lots of good information there. So this is Dave from Wet Fly Swing. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.